welcome back to 6 and 6, where we cover 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin today in Chile, where the president is aggressively pursuing a comprehensive decarbonization strategy for the nation's energy sector, targeting a complete transition away from fossil fuels by the end of his term in 2025. The government aims to position Chile as a Latin American climate action leader by scaling renewable energy investments and developing supportive policy frameworks. From Reuters, quote, "The biggest challenge we face is not just transitioning our energy supply, but ensuring that this transition is equitable and inclusive, benefiting of all sectors of society. We are committed to investing in renewable energy projects that will bring jobs and opportunities across the country, from solar farms in the northern regions to wind power installations in our southern territories," end quote. Next, we travel across the Atlantic to Africa, where astronomers in South Africa are raising serious concerns about Elon Musk's Starlink satellites potentially interfering with the Square Kilometer Array, or the SKA, telescope project. The satellite's reflective surfaces could create bright streaks in astronomical images, potentially compromising critical scientific observations of distant galaxies and early universe phenomenon. The International Astronomical Union is working to develop guidelines to mitigate these potential disruptions. From Reuters, quote, "The Starlink constellation pose a significant threat to the quality of our science that can be conducted by ground-based instruments," explained Dr. Vanessa McBride. "Even though the satellites themselves serve an important purpose in terms of providing broadband internet to underserved areas, we are very worried that their prevalence in orbit could lead us to lose valuable scientific data," end quote. And next, back across the Atlantic, we go to Mexico, where a recent judicial election experienced an extremely low voter turnout of approximately 13%, raising significant concerns about democratic participation and public engagement. The election, intended to strengthen judicial integrity, revealed deep-seated voter apathy and a potential need for comprehensive electoral reforms. The minimal participation underscores broader challenges in maintaining public trust in the political and judicial institutions. From Reuters, quote, "Turnout in Mexico's judicial election was strikingly low, further exacerbating concerns over public disillusionment with political and judicial processes. Despite efforts to engage voters, the estimated 13% of turnout reflects a significant barrier for the democratic participation," end quote. Next, we travel across the Pacific to Hong Kong, where an activist in exile continues to resist Beijing's efforts to suppress remembrance of the Tiananmen Square massacre. Despite being far from home, this activist uses social media and international platforms to maintain historical memory and raise awareness about human rights abuses. Their ongoing advocacy highlights the persistent struggle for democratic freedoms and challenges to authoritarian censorship in China. From Reuters, quote, "The activists in exile highlight how those who have fled Hong Kong are sustaining the struggle for greater democratic freedoms. Through exhibitions and online commemorations, exiled activists are persistently working to ensure that the events of June 4th, 1989 do not remain unforgotten, end quote. Further south in Australia, the housing market continues to show resilience, with steady house prices growing in major cities like Sydney and Melbourne despite interest rate hikes. Strong demand, limited supply, and a positive economic outlook are driving price increments through 2025. Policymakers are being urged to focus on increasing housing supply to address affordability challenges. From Reuters, quote, even in a climate of cautious optimism with fears stirring in increasing interest rates, Australia's housing market displays robust resilience characterized by consistent price growth. The conversation is shifting towards sustainable growth, with experts suggesting regulatory adjustments to ensure housing remains attainable while supporting economic growth, end quote. And finally, we go to Europe, where Russia and Ukraine remain deeply divided in peace negotiations, with significant disagreement over territorial disputes and security guarantees. Despite ongoing diplomatic efforts, talks continue to be disrupted by mutual accusations and aggressive military postures. International mediators are striving to bridge the gap, though. From Reuters, quote, "While both sides express a theoretical openness to dialogue, the reality on the ground paints a different picture. With escalating including military activities frequently disrupting diplomatic efforts. International mediators remain hopeful yet acknowledge the immense challenges that they see ahead of them. End quote. And of course, if you want to check out any of today's articles, all the links will be in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Podvine, as well as the Twitter handle at Your Daily Flip, where I post links to these episodes on Tuesday and Thursday, and the normal podcast that comes out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday that one is more about U.S. politics. So if you want to go check those out, you want to be up to date when they come out, go over to that Twitter. So with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe, don't die,